His morning crew with Rob, Allison, and Jim.
It's not every day a reality show TV star comes walking in.
I know.
Right?
Well, y'all know that I had the opportunity to do a TED event earlier this week. I spoke at it, and I didn't win, but this guy won. No hard feelings. Jarell Rochelle is in the studio. You did amazing. No, so if you're not familiar with TED, it's ideas worth spreading, and Jarell is a fabulous dancer that's been a part of your life for probably forever, and you've been on reality shows and won competitions and things like that. But can you start by telling us about your big idea worth spreading that you talked about at the TED event?
The idea that I expressed at the TED event was basically expression through purpose. It brings a certain awareness. One can only break through to their purpose in life through their personal expression, and so many times we hold that back because of our safety guards. We don't want to be seen, we don't want to be noticed, we don't want to be judged. But that difference that's in us, that we look at and we see situations and we're like, I don't know if that quite, I don't know if things should be like that. That is unique to who we are, and there's someone else who feels like that. So when we suppress things, we oftentimes lose that ability to influence others because we're so worried, but they're thinking the same thing too. So the only way that you can live a full life, in my opinion, is to live out loud and live through that expression, whether good or bad, positive or negative, regardless of what other people say, because someone might be feeling that way.
You're hearing from Jarell Rochelle. That's a rhyme.
Yes,
I have a hard time with rhymes. Jarell Rochelle. Your mama did that on purpose, didn't she?
I asked them, I was like, why did you name me that? And it was like, because it just worked. And I'm so thankful for it. It's like Jarell Rochelle, boom, right.
It gets right on out. And you may know him from So You Think You Can Dance, not from one season or two seasons, but 4 seasons altogether, including being a finalist in season 9 and 10. Those are some experiences where he just gave it his all. Now check out a clip from one of those performances.
Most people would be nervous, but I'm more ready to rock this thing because I have so much inspiration and revolving around it. I have to give it my all today. There is no okay, what if you go home? I've made it up in my mind that I'm just ready to go.
What was that experience like, man?
Oh wow, it was interesting. This was actually my second time. Just for kids out there who audition or who do stuff like that, perseverance is the key, because everyone saw this moment, but this moment happened after 2 or 3 auditions and getting told no or rejected or not making it through. But the audition overall was a beautiful process. And not only that, just to be able to dance for my mom, just watching this clip, it brings me back to that moment. When I said afterwards, it wasn't about the crowd, it wasn't about people. It was that was something that was in my heart. And I zoned out. It was a moment, a personal, intimate moment with me and my mother, and everyone else just happened to be watching, literally. And it was unforgettable, and I enjoyed it. It was hard though, definitely really hard, especially Vegas. Vegas is meant to break you.
I'm sure.
It is. You're up at 4 a.m. You're wondering, you're about to eat, and then you're just going all day, every day. And it brings out your passion, and you dig deep from a place of man, I don't know if I can do this again. I gotta wake up again. And
we can't relate to getting up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
We don't get
at all. Radio show.
You dance on stage, but you also dance anywhere the spirit leads you.
Amen. Come on.
Even a sneaker shop at the mall. I saw this
yes,
on your Instagram.
Yeah.
What is it? What happens in those moments when you feel like you just gotta dance?
I think it was just bred in my spirit, y'all. Okay, so funny story. When I was in middle school, I would always be fidgeting, moving and all this other stuff. And that fidgeting, that energy that God's given me, it started manifesting through dance. And so like I would just be walking around school, and I was so passionate in love with the process of dancing that it felt like literally I just couldn't stop, like, because I always felt like this energy inside of me, like it's like shaking and stirring. And so I just became accustomed to it. And at first people would just like watch and they'd be like, that's weird. But it just was one of those things where I just felt so much passion about it. Like I didn't want to disrupt that by being like, ooh, I feel like dancing, but I'm not going to do it because, you know, this might be weird. Even in church, like the reception that I get sometimes, it's like, dude, that was awesome praise and worship. And then other times it's like, what were you doing? And I've come accustomed to being like, you know, it's cool if you don't understand, but like, that's just something that God's birthed in me. And my hope is that if you hear music or if anyone else hears music, that you don't feel ashamed or embarrassed to share your gift. If you want to walk around with a violin, go ahead and do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you should just explore and be open to sharing your gift. And especially when you feel like it's your gift, like you give it to the world, you know? So I don't know. I wish it was more complex, but I just move. I like to move.
Just does it. I love that. That's so cool. Jarell Rochelle along with us. So you think you can dance. Now, you were talking earlier about your mom and the big motivation that she has for you.
Yeah.
And is in your life. And she has Best disease, something to do with the eyes.
Yes. I think, and this is the best way to explain it, her cornea, everyone's cornea is supposed to be curved, but hers is flattening as time progresses. And so basically that limits her vision to where she can only see shapes. Now, fortunately enough, she still has vision, praise God. Like, I'm gonna clap on radio for that, you know what I'm saying? Praise God. But she's only able to see shapes, no details. And, you know, the doctors did say that, you know, she would lose vision, but here she is, like, standing, a miracle. And not only that, but she got to see our wedding happen. She got to see our firstborn girl happen. Like, and that's something that doctors can't understand. And that is the miracle in itself. Oh, wow. Like, something that was supposed to take her vision, and it can't even do that. So I'm thankful for that. That's a miracle. If I've never seen one, that is definitely one.
And speaking of those other ladies in your life, your wife, Maddie, your baby, Adeline Grace. Yes. Aw, how's Adeline Grace? She's 14 months?
Yeah, 14 months.
How's she changed your life?
Y'all, I can't even talk about this without getting emotional. From a real perspective, I think to be called into something is one thing, but to not have a reason or a motivation to go towards it is another. And for me, I felt like before she was born, I had this giftedness to be able to speak, influence, touch, whatever. But when she entered into my life, it suddenly gave shape to this purpose to stop messing around and live every day as if it's your last. To be able to know that you're here for a reason. You have someone watching you. And when someone's watching you, you're setting an example in all that you do, or the speech, conduct, how you handle people, what you're doing when you're moving, dancing. You know, she's looking at everything unfold, and those tidbits are going to be what the foundation which she builds herself upon. And so from that perspective, I was like, yo, I gotta quit playing. I gotta focus my mind, and I gotta do what I need to do while I'm here on this earth to make an impact in the way that I know I can. And she has shaped me to become a better man overall. Like, I love her. I love her. That's my baby girl. I love her.
Now I want to be a better dad.
Oh, man.
And wear a cool hat, because Jarell has a cool hat on, dude.
I love hats.
I can tell.
I love hats.
Let's get him to do some dances on the His Radio Insta stories.
Hey, let's go. Yes.
We're going to fire that up.
I'll be down for that.
It's Rob, Allison, and Jim on His Radio. Jarell Rochelle along with us, so you can think I can dance. It was a fun time with you, man.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.